feel like this is where I should post that Jersey Mike's sign that Bill sent me so long ago that says Mike's BS.
I found that in a folder on my laptop when I was looking at some other stuff not too long ago. It was still very funny.
Yeah, Bill has an amazing ability to find the right humor. There you go. So,
Perfect.
has that been a minute? It has not been a minute yet. They're chuckling because I just dropped it in the Discord. Okay, now it's been a minute. Here we go. Oh, jam. Jam? Preserves. Jelly?
Smucker's Raspberry Jam.
Jam. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mana Pool. This is, as far as I can tell, episode 713, good lord, of the Mana Pool. Think how high that number would be if we hadn't eased up on having to do an episode every week and not done just chatting episodes.
That would be very between that and between just 2020 period, we would probably be to 800.
Possibly. We'll get to this shortly, but according to my YouTube creator year in review, I only uploaded 30 videos to the YouTube channel. And the only things I upload to the YouTube channel these days are podcast episodes. Which means we only did 30 episodes this last year. So that means that's 20 probably that are missing, yeah. Quote unquote. And so over the last 4 years, it's entirely possible that there were just 20 a year that just didn't get made that would have if,
yeah,
the world hadn't ended, which means we would be damn near 800.
I remember fairly consistently for the first X years, at least 10, if not more, we were averaging 50 a year because it felt like we were hitting the 100s, 200, 300 every other year. Yeah. And part of that was, we were very consistent about it, but also there were a couple times early on, we haven't done this in a while, where we would do during preview season, we might have like an episode on a Tuesday and an episode on a Thursday to cover some of the stuff that had come out.
Oh, and that was only shorter. In the first year, though, I think.
Was that only the first year? Okay. But we were, as you said, more consistent about pretty much all of it. So,
yeah. By the way, hi, I'm Chewy. These other dorks are here too. Hi, dorks.
Hey, I'm Brian. I'm the lead rambler and tangent master of the group. And you know what? I feel like 2 titles is enough. Like I just started with the lead rambler, added tangent master, and it's the beginning of a new year. And I'm like, no, I think I'm good. I don't want to take on another job. I'm gonna max these jobs out first.
Thank God, because your intros are already too long with only 2.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And then the pause before Mike realizes it's his turn to speak is also getting too long.
Well, no, I was paying attention this time. I was just making sure
he was going to.
Done.
He started to. He said, "Hey," and I wasn't done yet. So I heard that.
I'm Mike. I'm the rules guy and the game lore guy. And no, I've never had any aspirations for additional titles there. I think I'm just good right there.
Didn't you start with both of those?
I think so.
Yeah, Mike never added one.
Mm-hmm. And I'm Dirk, the self-proclaimed greatest man alive and moral compass of the group. And I was just the greenest man alive, and then moral compass got added after hundreds of episodes in when we were having a discussion about, is it right, is it wrong for this, and blah, blah, blah. And they were like, oh, Dirk is our moral compass. And then I just sort of tacked it on. So actually, I have added a title to mine. Or the boys added a title to me.
Yeah, did Chewy give you that one? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
It's been so long.
Yeah. I remember that was added on later. As far as, if that was
Greenie
your
Man,
decision or not.
Being the greenest man alive definitely was a thing I had for the longest time.
Since day one.
Yeah, when I started playing Magic.
I'm still just the lead dork. I don't have any other titles, although I have all the other titles. I just don't say them.
Yeah, I might need to trim one soon because I don't pay as close attention to the game itself and the releases and like the kind of stuff that Mark Rosewater talks about on his blog and podcast. I don't know as much about the game's lore as I used to. The game itself, not like the story and stuff. I was always a little dodgy on that sometimes. So I might actually have to trim one of those.
You feel like you're not living up to your lore guy potential? Your
No,
moniker?
yeah, I don't have my ear to the ground on that like I used to.
Well, you're getting old, Mike. It's hard to get back up once you get your ear down to the ground.
Oh yeah, it's killer.
And I'm Chewy, the lead dork and the producer. No, see, this doesn't work. On my Facebook page, it does say I'm the MFIC at Manapool Productions.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's my job that's listed. Jay Spencer in the chat says, "Are you saying Mike can't get knocked down and get back up again?" I mean, he could. It just takes him longer.
Yeah. But someone with enough determination might be able to keep me down.
I will say he can't get knocked up and then get down again.
No.
Anyway. So
Yeah,
welcome everyone to the first episode of 713 of 2025. It's episode 713. And we are living in frickin' science fiction 2025.
Yes.
I don't know why, but the 5 at the end makes it sound more science fiction-y to my brain.
We're definitely gonna see.
Like my favorite science fiction year is the year 10,191. But if you know what that's a reference to, you're a giant nerd.
Kung Fu Panda.
No.
What, you don't headcanon that it's actually in Kung Fu Panda takes place in a dystopian future? Think about that for a little bit.
Yeah, Jay Spencer's got it already.
Okay, I wondered if that's what it was. I couldn't remember exactly.
Yeah, it's doing.
The situation there. Mm-hmm.
I should get around to seeing those at some point.
Virginia Madsen said that in the original David Lynch Dune, and I was like, that year is not even a year. It's got too many digits. But anyway, so we, and by we I mean Brian and I think Dirk, decided that, hey, let's do the obligatory, oh, it's a new year. Here's what happened last year. Here's what we hope happens next year. Or something sort of thing. And I was like, I didn't say this to them at the time. And in fact, this is the first time they're hearing this. I hate this idea. But I knew that it would work. So
since we don't have anything better to do just yet.
I didn't hate the idea, but I don't, it's not the most creative we've ever done for sure. But it's been an interesting year, is one way to put it. And I do have hopes and dreams for the future. So, yeah.
I used to have those. Then I woke up on November 3rd. Those were all gone. 3rd? 6th?
Somewhere in that range.
When was Super Tuesday?
I think
Damn.
we all know what you're referring to.
Whenever
So.
Wednesday was, whatever the following Wednesday.
Yeah,
Worst
6th.
Wednesday ever. Yeah.
But let's not get into that just yet.
Just yet.
So I alluded to this earlier, but my YouTube creator year in review is just pitiful. I uploaded 30 videos, all of which were podcast episodes, I'm pretty sure. Oh God, we didn't even do 30. We didn't even do 30 episodes because I put up 4 of the old RPG episodes this year.
So
Really?
So 26. So we're about half. Wow. I know that there were several weeks this year where we were like burned out.
Yeah, we also took 2 months off accidentally. Oh yeah,
true.
and one of them was the Where Have We Been video. So yeah, like I said, taking an accidental 2 months off there, sort of. These are rookie numbers, is what I'm saying. But that's okay because we've been doing this long enough to where we're allowed some rookie numbers. It's fine.
If this was like our first year, it might make Chewy go like, oof, you know, do I want to keep doing this? But you know, we've got a lot of good years under our belt, and we've got some rough years under our belt too. But this has definitely been a year.
Let's see. As a matter of fact, the first episode that was posted this year or last year was entitled 2023 and Other Nonsense. Apparently we did this last year.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
Oh well. Okay. While we're on the episodes, let's see here. We did the Mythics of Eventide, which was the final Mythic Conscription.
Oh,
wow.
That was this year, huh?
Yeah. That was the beginning of this year.
Yeah. And we always said, hey, we're not going to say it's necessarily the last one because there's other things we can do with Mythic Conscription. But it was the end of essentially the regular format, the expansion sets, and doing them that way.
We should probably still do like a couple, figure out how to do something with a core set or two.
Did we not do Alpha Beta?
No.
Okay.
We never did Alpha Beta. I think we did Arabian Nights, but
Well, yeah, because that's expansion.
yeah. We didn't do Foundations. Yeah, but
let's see here. We did 3 episodes on the murders at Karlov Manor. Oh, the last one was the clue cards. Okay. We did an episode on Fallout. Just chatting. Oh, the charity stream announcement. Oh God, so now it's 25. 24. Oof. Let's see. Thunder Junction. Just chatting. Heirs of Trevis Duro. We did episode 700. Such as it was. We planned episode 700.
yes. And if you're thinking, wait, what was the idea for that again? Exactly. We had, as you alluded earlier, we with the RPG episodes, we finished the Heirs of Trevester campaign.
What?
After many years and sporadic episodes, and going 6-7+ months without doing one of those episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, this year we did episode looks like 18 and then 19.
Sounds about right.
And then I uploaded all of the old stuff that wasn't already on YouTube.
Okay.
And then, yeah, the final one was episode 20.
Wow.
Yeah.
In September. It feels further back than that, weirdly.
It does. But
Oh.
I'll tell you what,
Well,
the last 3 months almost feel like they didn't happen. So,
There is that.
like, I was looking back, spoiler alert, I was looking back through photos and things to think about specific things that I went through or I did this year. And, like, I feel like half of these, more than half of these, were, like, concentrated in April through July. And then a couple things, and then September, and then, like, since September, it's been like 1 or 2 big things a month. But since September, I feel like this year's just flown by.
Yeah. Let's see here. We did Dorks. Okay, wait a minute. We did a Dorks Just Chatting entitled Recent Media Consumption. We did one called Adaptations, Tournaments, and Video Games.
Mm-hmm.
Then we took 2 months off accidentally and posted the Where Have We Been. Then we did some Bloomborough. Oh yeah, we did the big episode about RPG games we love.
Yeah,
right.
that was fun.
We talked about Duskmorn. We talked about horror tropes in Duskmorn.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. I enjoyed that episode.
Yeah, that one
That
was
was
more
an
fun than
interesting-
talking about the set itself.
Yeah, that was an interesting way of talking about magic, but also not
magic.
entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did an episode entitled A Mashup of Mashups, where we looked at the Marvel Magic Secret Layers and then talked about the first Kingdom Hearts game.
Yes.
Ah.
Which later gave us the inspiration, the second half of that, for Castlevania later in the year. In fact, at the end of the year.
Yeah. We did an episode about the new stuff in Foundations. We never did cover Foundations itself because I vetoed it.
Mm-hmm.
Another Dorks Just Chatting entitled Hardcore What Now? And then our 2 Castlevania episodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, again, were still not my idea, and I have no idea how.
So it's interesting, just a couple things wrapped up there, like the RPG, like at least the current iteration of Mythic Inscription, and some new ideas in there. And I feel like the last year, and you guys can correct me if you think I'm wrong about this, but was kind of like a growth year, but not in the traditional sense of, oh, we're doing more episodes, we're doing more of this, but trying out different ideas.
Yeah.
So, and that's always going to be a little experimental.
Yeah. So that's it for episodes we did. I mentioned the charity announcement video in March of last year. I did the Chivos for Charity stream where we raised, what did I say? $1,330 for Trans Lifeline.
That's great.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I came over for a couple hours of that.
Yeah, Brian was here for a chunk of that on, I think the second day.
I think it was the second day, yeah.
Thank goodness, because I was probably running out of steam by then.
You seemed a little tired. You let me play for a little bit. I got to see Renee. Honestly, I wish I could have stayed longer.
Yeah.
But it was a good time.
Was I forget, was Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion part of that stream?
No.
Okay.
That was part of June is for Short Games.
Okay.
Excuse me. Which I'll get to later. But yeah, Chivos for Charity, I went through a bunch of games on Steam and jotted down some achievements that I thought would be, interesting to go for, but not the type of achievement that would take, hours to grind for or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I put them on a wheel there's a site for that. And I would spin the wheel, and that was the achievement. And whatever achievement it came up would be the one I would go for.
Yep.
And I successfully... Oh, God, I forgot how many. But I successfully hit a bunch of them. Damn near all of the ones I tried for. There were 4 or 5 that I was like, okay, this isn't happening.
Yeah.
I've gotten a couple of those since then. Like, since I got the Steam Deck, spoilers again for later, I started playing Dicey Dungeons, which is another little, like, roguelike deck builder, but with dice. It's very cute. Right. I highly recommend it. And I got the stacking a certain amount of poison on a character. And I got it easy. Like, oh. I don't remember if that's one that I attempted and couldn't get or just never came up, but I got it a few days ago, and I was like, oh, well.
It can be satisfying when there's something you're trying to do in a game, and you're like, can't do it, and you put the game down, you come back later, and you're like, let me try this again, and you just do it on the first try. It can be nice, although it is always that period where you're hitting your head into the wall, and you're like, this is impossible, I hate these developers, really stinks.
Yeah, I do. I mean, what? But yeah, the entice. What?
Chewie's dying.
Excuse me. What the hell? Who? The way that I was enticing people to donate to charity, because apparently you can't just go, hey, give to charity, and people go, yeah. I mean, you can, but you get better results if you offer people stuff in return, which seems to defeat the purpose of charity. But whatever. I over the years, I buy bundles of games, like Steam games, that, hey, this bundle has 12 games in it, and I want 3 of them. And it's cheaper to buy the bundle than to buy the 3 games individually. What'll I do with these other 9 games? Well, I've just sort of sat on them. And a few years ago, I got the idea to put them all in a spreadsheet because the codes are still there. They're still good. So I put them all in a spreadsheet, and they're what I give away now. It is currently sitting at 987 games, but there are lots that I haven't put on the list yet. Like the last, I think, 2, maybe 3 months of Humble Choice. And a couple other bundles that I picked up for cheap that had, a handful of games. There were a bunch just a few days ago. There were a bunch in the Jingle Jam, it's called. It wasn't done on Humble this year. It was a separate standalone thing. And there were like 5 games in it that I wanted. I was like, hell yeah. And I could put the rest of these in the spreadsheet. It'll be great. And then I got the email with all the codes to redeem, and I didn't realize at the time, but it said these codes expire on December 31st, 2024. And after I put them all in the spreadsheet, I saw that, and I went, oh, come on. And I meant to give them all away in during streams and whatnot, and forgot. So, I think the 29th, I dumped what the games were and the link to the store, the Steam page for each one in the Discord. I was like, hey, anybody want one of these? You could have one. Well, first I went through and looked to see if anybody on my Steam friends list had any of these games on their wish list. I gave 3 away that way. And then I gave away all but 2 to people in the Discord going, yeah, I'll take this one. Here you go. And then finally, I think it was Violet was like, what the hell? I'll take the last one. I was like, all right. Or I'll take the next to last one. And I have a friend that wants the actual last one. I was like, here are both the codes. Go to town. They did not go to waste because I don't want, the reason I buy these games is not to sit on the codes forever so no one else can have them. It's to give them to people. Excuse me, I hit the microphone. So it was really nice to see all of those get used. And there was no time. It just said they expired December 31st. And I'm like, when? Like at midnight, Greenwich Mean Time? Like, what? I don't. Here's a code. I really hope it still works. It worked. Oh, thank God. But anyway. Yeah, so I will be doing at least one more charity stream this year. Probably around the same time. Probably around Marchish. Probably. So save up some money to give to charity and get some free Steam games. Because I've got, by then, over 1,000 to give away. For God's sake.
Nice.
Tell your friends. Come get some codes. Give to a good cause. No, I don't know what the good cause is yet. It's the freaking second of the year as we're recording this. Give me a break. I'll figure it out. Anyway, that's enough for me for a bit. How about you guys?
So for me, unless somebody else wants to go first, I just wanted to take a minute and kind of reflect on how the last year's been for me. And I'm looking back through the last year, and if there's one thing that I see popping up over and over again, and I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, Brian's complaining or anything like that. And trust me, there's plenty to complain about. I am one of the fortunate people in the world right now that actually has a house. I have shelter. My basic needs are met. So I don't want to sound like a complaint. However, I will say that sometimes being a homeowner, especially of a house that is over 20 years old, has issues. So, for example, I'm looking at things in the year, and I'm like, okay, a couple things of note. Like in February, the D&D campaign that I'm running with Sam and Dirk and Mike and Mike's wife reached 3 years, and their characters went into the abyss and had a grand old time, and that's cool. And then I have noted some stuff in March, and then in April, there was the eclipse on 4/8. You remember that eclipse where tried to take pictures of it and all that sort of stuff. And then I put on there, and that's when we got the new roof. Because first things first, for home repairs, needed a new roof. And then in May, new dishwasher, because the old one broke. And in June, I assembled the shed, which that was less of a have to do and more of a we wanted that to have more space for it. And then in September, the garage door broke. And then October, we bought the new fridge. And then November, we had the garage door fixed. And then on the 19th of November, my car was hit by the deer. And I do put it that way because the deer totally crossed 3 lanes of traffic to smack into me. I don't think that poor deer made it, but that was on November 19th. I got my car back, and Chewy knows this because I called him that day, on December 27th.
Oh, wow.
And what was interesting was the car was technically, like when I had it towed just to be safe, even the AAA guy was like, this car is drivable. I'm like, I know, but you're here. So it really wasn't, yes, it needed to be fixed, but it was more that the panel was pushed in and there was some damage to the headlight. So the people that fixed it did a great job, but they didn't send us a whole lot of communication. I felt like I was calling them all the time, and I'm like, do you think we'll get this back soon? They're like, oh yeah, maybe by the end of next week. And then a week would go by. I'm like, I haven't heard from you. They're like, yeah, we're still waiting on some parts. And then it snowed a day, and that pushed them back. Yeah. So I know there's a lot of people there having it much harder than me. I've got my car back. Everything seems to be working fine. But yeah, and we're also, while it's not on my list because we haven't gotten it in yet, but we're replacing our front door because the wood around it has rotted. So yeah, if you own a home after a certain period of time, you're going to be fixing stuff. And I've got my eye on you, hot water heater. I've got and actually the hot water heater's new, but the furnace, I've got my eye on the furnace. But yeah, garage door, front door, dishwasher, fridge, all this stuff. So otherwise had a great time. June We went to Jamaica, had a great. I talked about that on the show in July during our unintended break. I did go to my grandmother's celebration of life. She passed away earlier in the year, and lived to be. Trying to remember, I think it was she was 101, so she had a very long, happy life. Um, Honestly, a lot of ups and downs this year, but I'm thankful to be here at the end of it. My family's okay. Um, Lost grandma, but my immediate family is still here. We're still doing all right. My dad's 81, and he's one of the most vital people I know. You'd think he was half his age, which would put him older than me, and that would be weird. So no, but that's kind of those are some of the things I just want to talk about real quick. Expensive, weird year, but happy to be still feeling blessed, and everybody in my family's still here, and my daughter is 14, and I just grew another gray hair as I said that. Every time I go to the barber, they keep all this gray hair keeps coming out, and I don't see it when it's in, but I'm seeing it on the floor, and I'm like, where'd that come from? How about you? How about you guys? Notable, I guess, real quick on the entertainment side of things. Still playing a lot of mobile games. Tried out a whole but I feel like this year I tried out more mobile games than some others. I deleted a whole lot of them for a while there. I tried. I still got it on here. I need to delete it because I haven't played it in forever. But Disney Pixel RPG. And I was like, yeah, this will be great. And I thought Carrie would play it too. And then they had like one event, and they let it run for like a month and a half with no new content. I'm like, yeah. But leaving 2024 behind, I have a Switch, so I'm playing the heck out of Zelda, and I have a PS5. So I tried some Marvel Rivals. You guys heard of this? It's
Yep.
kind of Overwatch, but Marvel. And I have
Oh,
learned that I am
It's a
still
third
horrible at first
person
person.
Overwatch, but yeah, it's a Marvel hero shooter in third person, which my brain, whenever I think about it being third person, my brain goes,
Was Overwatch not third person? Because I
no,
never
Overwatch
played
is first
Overwatch.
person.
Hmm.
Okay. Uh, it's fun. We got when we got the PS5, we got a bundle that came with an extra controller. I was like, yeah, Sam and I can play this together. And no, it does not allow for split screen, so that's kind of
Nope.
unfortunate. But I've learned. I don't know how many first per first person, third person shooters I've played since, you know, Unreal Tournament in college. Not many, but I've learned, yeah, I'm still pretty much horrible at it, but it's fun. So I like being Jeff the land shark and, eating players. That's a thing you can do. But so right now I'm enjoying that, and I've kind of got Final Fantasy VII
Um,
Rebirth
Brian,
on
don't
the.
forget there's a button to spit out your teammates before you jump off the cliff with the mouthful of enemies.
I saw that. I learned that the hard way, and I have yet to spit out the enemy without also accidentally jumping off the ledge myself. Every time. I've played it for like 2 hours, so that's not a ton. I have started Final Fantasy 16. I knew nothing about this game going in whatsoever.
Wait, did you say 15 or 16?
16.
Gotcha.
16. If I said the wrong, my uh, in-laws, my Carrie's mom and stepfather bought it for me for Christmas. The only downside it is rated M for mature, and so I've been like playing it without Sam around just to kind of get a gauge of it. If I feel like, oh, that's not a big deal, then but I what I don't want is like, oh, this is why it's that, and then too late. But so far I'm really enjoying it, and I'm liking that the aesthetic of the game. I feel like the last couple Final Fantasies have been medieval setting, but with advanced technology. Like Final Fantasy 15 was very much a mashup of that. Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 12 even still had some of that, and this feels more old school than that. It feels like actual high fantasy, and
Hmm.
I'm digging it. Again, I'm all of like an hour into that. So, yeah, mobile games, but actually, I'm honestly happy to be playing some platform games. And this year was also the year where I played 1 through 6 of the remasters, the Pixel remasters, and enjoyed every minute of it. Even some of the grinding with 2, yes, because it was my first time ever playing 2, period. So, social wise, good year, kind of all over the place, some expensive stuff. Gaming wise, honestly, I'm pretty happy. That's really it for me, and now I'm gonna shut up until I interrupt Mike. Hey, Mike and Dirk, how's your 2024?
Um, it was a little more. I'm glad you said out loud that idea of looking through photos. That actually helped me remember quite a lot of things that wouldn't have just popped into the front of my
Yeah.
mind
Well, we're old,
on
so
their
we
own.
don't
Yeah,
remember 12 months. Yeah.
A lot
yeah,
of
and there
stuff
are
runs together.
yeah, yeah, because there are also some things that, like, if you had asked me, was that this year or the year before, I would have been like, I don't know.
That's a good
Um,
question.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it just wasn't clear.
Yeah.
Um,
Happy to help.
yeah, personally, one big thing for myself was that around the start of the year, Ashley and I did just like a nutrition and exercise thing that made for a big change, like physically and health wise. So
Good.
I've been slacking off a bit recently, but from like the beginning of the year to my point of most improvement, there was like a 50-pound difference in my weight.
Wow.
Um,
Holy
Good
crap.
job.
yes, it was
That
quite a
is
bit.
not a small number.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've gotten back like at least like 12, 15 since that point, just from slacking off. But I know what I need
That
to do to get back on it. But yeah, it made a big change, not just in the way I look, but the way I felt on a day-to-day basis.
good
Um,
for you.
yeah, thanks. Yeah, and part of that. Oh
Tell
yeah,
us your secret, Mike.
what's your secret? It
It's the
was a lot.
Atkins diet, isn't it?
No, it was a lot of damn work. It was it was diligent calorie counting and 1 hour of brisk walking every day, like every day.
Cool. Good for you.
Yeah, and then March I actually walked a 10K event as part of like a capstone thing for the course. Um, it's a standard part of the course that I took to just walk 10K on your own as the last big walk of the 10-week thing. But there also happens to be a charity walk here at the airport in Greensboro. Well, it's a charity run walk thing. It's called Run on the Runway, and it happened to be on the weekend around the time that the 10K walk for my fitness program was scheduled. So I joined up for that event. So Ashley and I have some photos of us like out on the, I think it's the cargo runway out here at the airport here in Greensboro doing the event. It was pretty cool to go out there.
Nice.
And then a little later in the year, I turned 40 years old.
I was gonna bring it up if you didn't. I was gonna, hey, you hit a milestone.
Yeah, I did.
Now you're old like the rest of us.
I am.
Okay, Grandpa,
And I,
let's get you to bed.
yeah. And I was completely surprised by the surprise party. It's like Ashley and a couple of my aunts were just like, "Oh, your aunt's going to be passing through town on their way to somewhere they want to have lunch." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that sounds nice." So, and then when I walked in, I was like, "Oh, one of my uncles is here too. Hey, how you doing? I didn't know you would be there in town." And nope, didn't have any suspicion until I actually walked into the back where everyone was sitting, and I got a big surprise. And it was really nice. It was great,
Including the three of us.
including the three of you. That was wonderful.
Including the three of us.
Hmm.
Glad you liked it.
I almost sabotaged the plans because I had Mom didn't know that I had made plans of my own on another weekend that she was thinking of trying to organize it. Because just I decided to make myself, a little special plan. And I think on the weekend before that, I went to, I had heard about this free concert at a sports bar brewery type place out in Durham. So there was a professor who was going to give, there was a professor of German literature at UNC Chapel Hill who was going to give a short talk on the influence of Tolkien's writings on heavy metal music, and then there was going to be uh, like local artists doing a concert too. And there was also a group of people who were going to be meeting there beforehand to like play Commander with each other. So, so I packed up some of my Commander decks and went out there and met Thomas and Gabe, and played Magic and listened to a interesting talk about Tolkien, and then saw a heavy metal show. It's like all there in the same day in the same place.
That sounds like a hell of a day.
It was. That was also a really good day.
Nice.
Let's see.
Well, I'm glad you didn't sabotage your own party.
Yeah, me too. Looking at some of these other photos. Oh, Ashley and I took a trip to the Boston and Cape Cod area with with a group of her friends from grad school. Um, we had to replace the air conditioning and furnace in our house. I finally we finally hosted some people over at our house, like officially since we moved in. We invited my mom and dad and my brother and his wife over to visit and have dinner with us. When was this? This was in August. Oh, okay. That wasn't all that long ago. I don't take pictures very often. Ashley and I took a trip to Alaska. We did an Alaska cruise. That was really great. We did a lot of great sightseeing and a lot of walking around. We did a little impromptu hike in Juneau because we were going to go on a little rafting trip, but it was raining so much that the river wasn't safe and they canceled it. But we were able to make some last minute switch ups to go find a ride to a national park nearby and go hiking around near the Mendenhall Glacier. That was fun. But yeah, lots of cool sights on that trip. After we were done, we met up with some of our friends in Seattle, stayed with them for a few days. And then it's like, let's see, all the rest of these pictures seem to be from like the Thanksgiving and Christmas time. There were tons of stuff going on there. Oh, Brian, you mentioned the eclipse earlier in the year. I also have a couple pictures of when the northern lights were visible all the way down here. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. I saw that and I was like, I took the eclipse instead. I think somebody else might mention the.
Yeah, because we all stopped in the middle of an odds and ends to run outside and try to get pictures. And only Mike did successfully.
And
yeah.
Carrie.
And Carrie, yeah. But she's not one of the four of us, though. So
Carrie's pictures were great. But yeah, I remember standing out there and like looking and looking, and I could like vaguely see something, but I wasn't sure whether I was imagining it. But then, yeah, the colors came out a lot better in the photos that I took. Yeah, so that was fun. And then, gosh, Christmas time this year was crazy, going back and forth between here and Ashboro and Hillsboro and Andrews up in the mountains, all within really short, only very short breaks in between. But it was well worth it. At the family gathering in Andrews, it was probably the biggest one we've had in many, many years. Almost all of the cousins were there. There were only two of, like, I would say my generation of the family who weren't able to make it up for various reasons. So there were like almost 40 people at my uncle's house at one point for the big dinner on one night. That was a great time. Now we're here.
Yes, we are.
All right.
And anything game wise?
Game wise,
Still
no.
playing
Game
Diablo?
wise, I really drew back. No, I stopped playing Diablo. I might have stopped playing Diablo sometime last year, sometime in 2023 maybe. I just got tired of Diablo Immortal. I just wasn't interested in it anymore. But besides that, I kind of pulled back from playing games the way I used to. It's really just been Magic Arena and Super Snail have been my games. I was like playing Egg Inc. for a little while for, it's an idle game, so for whatever that's worth, but I got sick of that too eventually. It just got boring.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt Dirk. I just.
All right. Well, what I wrote down for my 2024, in terms of work, I wrapped up the 23-24 school year, did graduation and everything, which ended up being outside. Traditionally, it has been inside, but because of logistics and everything, my county ended up having all the graduations outside. This school year, though, they will be inside because it was a something hot out last year, and they also planned ahead of time. So, but aside from that, the big thing in terms of my job is I went to training over the summer to teach AP Environmental Science, and
Hey, we had dinner while you were doing that.
Yeah,
I got to see Dirk twice this year.
You did.
So, and yeah, I got to see Chewy during that, and got a little bit of a taste of what to expect and what to do, and some fun labs to do. And then this school year, I have done a couple of them with the hope that next year, if they do decide to keep me teaching Earth Environment or the AP Environmental Science class, that I'm going to try and streamline things and plan for next year, and try ahead of time, have labs and stuff that I want to do prepped and ready ahead of time. That's the big thing in terms of my work, and aside from that, I will say it has been a very rough, hard year for myself. The current 24-25 school year has just been, I feel like it's just been endless meetings that I have been in. And these are meetings that were county mandated or school mandated. And then there's just a lot where, with regards to like EC and like parent meetings and stuff of that sort, where you have to do IEP meetings and all that kind of stuff. I tend to be the person that, because I have first period planning and a lot of people want to meet in the morning, they do try, the EC department has tried really hard not to have me be the person who is always sitting in on these meetings. However, I often am the person who sits in on these meetings. And so the yeah, I've sat in on a lot of meetings this year, and it's just one of those things where you're just like, okay, I've done this enough times, and you advocate for the kids, and you're trying to make sure that they have that their needs are being met and everything. And some of these kids are ones I have never met, but the people who are there know what's going on, and they're looking out. And my point is just to say, is this something that I think would be um, advantageous for the student in the classroom? So that has been my big thing this year, is taking on a new class, and in essence being an advocate for students in meetings and everything. And that has just been a lot for me this
I
year.
believe it.
In terms of personal, um, I continue to spend lots of fun time with the kids. They are wonderful. There are definitely times when they drive me nuts, and it's just like, okay, guys, just go somewhere else. I can't take you right now. I really want to jump on a lifestyle change like Mike has done. I need to get back into doing my conditioning stuff, where I'm doing sit-ups and push-ups each day.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever it starts getting warmer, and I'm no longer doing swim, I get back into walking the dog in the morning, and that's usually a 20-30 minute walk that we do every morning. The short walk is 20 minutes. The long walk is 30 minutes. Long walk just means that I do an extra little part of the cul-de-sac down the neighborhood, in addition to the normal walk, the 20-minute walk. But I need to get back into doing that once swim season is over, because I feel like that helped me kind of get steps in and exercise, and I need to get into doing more exercise and conditioning stuff to help me stay healthy.
Meanwhile, my fat ass just ate a Star Crunch and started wonder if I should have some ice cream later.
No shame in that.
You know, you
I
do
mean,
you,
both of
ma'am.
these guys mentioned it, but I've talked to my doctor, and I'm not obese yet, but my BMI is high, and I've started a cholesterol reducer. And one of my goals for myself is, hey, I'm getting ready to do a big trip this year, and I'm not worried necessarily about having a beach body, but maybe I can use that as a goal more than anything else. Okay, I'm going in X month. I therefore have X months, and just kind of see where I'm at. We have a treadmill. Carrie and I have been trying to walk. If I'm home for lunch, we try to take a trip around the neighborhood, because it's roughly a mile to go from one end back to our house, depending on which route you take. And can probably stand to do a bit more than that, but using that as a stepping stone sort of thing. So interesting that we're all talking about that. But hey, we're actually middle-aged guys. We're all in our
We're
40s now.
wanting to
So
be health conscious.
yes,
Yeah.
Um,
Except for me, that is, who is fat and happy.
go have some ice cream. I will probably have ice cream later, so I'm gonna have to be fighting against myself, and I'm well aware of that.
um, in terms of what I've done this year, once again doing lots of family stuff and everything. We did quite a few little trips and everything. So we went to Disney in August. I'm trying to remember the date. August. So we went to Disney, and this came after a cruise. The cruise. So the whole thing with the cruise is,
Mm-hmm.
um, we normally cruise out of Charleston, and we usually go on Carnival Cruise. Carnival is no longer now that we're in 2025, they will no longer be sailing out of Charleston. So the whole point of going on this cruise was it was the last year that Carnival would be sailing out of Charleston. The previous time I had gone on a cruise, Penny was less than a year old, and I just, we went with my parents, and it was the five of us and my parents that went, and I spent that cruise being miserable, like I cannot describe to you the level of misery I had on that cruise. And it wasn't the cruise's fault. It was I was paranoid about the kids going overboard. And it didn't start off well when, as we're leaving, we're looking at everything, and my middle child sticks his head out through the railing to look out and be like, "Oh, let me see what's going on." And I'm looking at something like, my child is going to fall overboard and die and everything. And so I spent the cruise primarily being paranoid the whole time. And my thought was, oh, well, we'll put him in the Camp Carnival and we'll get some time where we can go and do stuff. Well, because Penny was so young, she could only be in camp, the Camp Carnival stuff for like an hour, which meant we really couldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like I said, I spent a good chunk of my time being just completely miserable on that cruise. There were some fun things that we did, but again, this cruise that we went over this summer, obviously the kids are a lot older, and it was just so much fun. The kids, so they did Camp Carnival. They're all old enough that they could do it, and because of their age, they were able to do Camp Carnival for like 3 hours, which gives you time to be like, let's go do this. And a lot of the camp activities were game activities that were on the ship, were in places like, I want to go do these activities, I want to go do this. The kids wanted to go play these activities with me, and so we spent time, either on the deck playing foosball. Trevor and I played chess several times on the deck, like with the giant chess pieces. We did. I can't tell you how many games of foosball we played. And I lost horribly to my children. They're just much better at like getting the ball in between my characters and everything. I don't know what happened, but they were just so much better at it than me.
It's all right. You can just admit that your kids are better at games. It's all right. We won't judge.
Apparently so.
You guys hear about Dirk? I mean, I'll judge you a little bit.
He just can't play games anymore. He's just so old.
There was
also a ropes course that you could do, and like with the harness, and you can, we did that a couple times. I tried to play pool with the guys, but because the ship rocks and the tables were not evenly set up, the pool was not a fun game to play on a cruise ship.
Yeah, I'm kind of picturing that, and I'm like, there's a couple cruises I've been on, and there was one in particular where there was one day where it felt like we were in the middle of a typhoon. I'm trying to picture playing pool in that, and yeah. I'm intrigued. I have a question for you, but I don't want to take over your thought.
The one thing Penny loved doing was playing putt-putt, because they had, I think it was 12 holes, and we played the 12 holes, and we played it a couple times. That I actually did beat the kids on every time.
Ha!
Like I say, the one game I could play that I definitely beat them on was putt-putt. And I have always been able to beat them on putt-putt. So, yeah, go me. Like I said, it was just so much fun to go and play with the kids and everything. And then when they went to there was one time where Chelsea wanted to watch a movie out on the deck. And they started watching the movie. I think they got like an hour into the movie, and then Penny looked at Chelsea and said, "Can I go to Camp Carnival?" It really put a Debbie Downer on Chelsea, because she's like, "But I wanted to watch this movie with you." But she also was like, "Well, I mean, that means I can actually have time to myself, I guess." So, I got to do some trivia. It was a lot. Like I said, it was so much fun, and I got to do trivia with my dad, because we did Star Trek and Harry Potter trivia.
Nice.
And so I did pretty well on both, but I definitely did not win. But like I said, it was the cruise was so much fun, and we never left the ship. Like whenever we had the days to disembark, we never left the ship. Actually, the one disembarkment day into the Nassau, we stayed on ship and did the water park because nobody was there. We were the only people at the water park.
Yeah, there's sometimes when you just don't have any interest in the port of call that
We've never had an interest in them. We did it when we first did the sailing, and then we're like, yeah, everything is overpriced, and you have to like go through all the stuff to leave the ship. Yeah, we'd rather just stay on the ship and just do our own thing. So that's exactly what we did.
You mentioned, what I was going to ask is, you mentioned that on your first cruise that like Carnival would only allow Penny to be in the kids club for like an hour. That is crazy. I've only ever done Disney cruises, and the one Alaskan cruise we did last year was with Princess, and at that point Sam was 13, so she didn't feel like she needed to do any of that. But one of Sam's favorite things has always been the kids clubs, and I've never heard of a kids club where they're like, yeah, you get an hour. That's crazy.
Well, no, it's because she was the baby.
I get that, but still.
And that was the whole reason why, is they cannot keep the kids in there for more. And again, she was not even a year old. But now that they're older, they can stay in there for, opening time was like 10, and then they would close at 1 for lunch, and then you could go back at 3 and go till 6. So it was, you were there, you could be there for 3 hours, and the only reason why the kids would leave was because the crew people needed to have dinner, and you also were supposed to take your kids to go give them food too, because they weren't providing it there.
They weren't
But I
providing
mean, they
it.
had
Okay.
game consoles. They took the kids out on deck to play. Penny's favorite, they did arts and crafts stuff with them. She came back with so many arts and crafts stuff, and that's why she kept wanting to go back. Penny is very much an arts and craft person, and she loved Camp Carnival because of that.
Try a Disney cruise sometime and let me know what you think, because
okay.
Possibly because Disney is, hey, look, families, they don't. I think you have to basically get them by the end of the day, or something like that. But I don't know they have those sorts of constraints. But anyway, I have a bias, so I'm glad you had a much better time this last time. That should be the takeaway.
And then, like I said, we went to Disney about a week or two right after that, and it's a good thing, because come to find out, apparently Chelsea got COVID while on the cruise. Okay. And so before we went to Disney, everybody was good and all, and we decided there was a promotion going on that we took advantage of that said you can do 3 Disney parks, but you cannot do Magic Kingdom. And I was totally fine with that. I really don't want to do Magic Kingdom. Mostly because it's the most crowded park. It is the one that just takes darn near, like, everyone goes to it. And all the parks I really wanted to go to were not Magic Kingdom. And so we went to Epcot, which is my favorite park. And I had so much fun while I was there. And then we went to Hollywood Studios and got to go to Star Wars Land. And I got to build a lightsaber and everything. And speaking of which, one of the things I got to do, my mother-in-law gave me for my Christmas present. I'll get it real quick. So when you get these lightsabers, the problem with them is they sit inside of your closet unless you find some way of displaying them. Well, my mother-in-law looked on my Amazon wish list and she found these displays that I was like, oh, this would be kind of cool to do. And I mounted them. She bought them and I mounted them. And so I just sent the guys pictures of the lightsaber mounts, and they are
That's
awesome.
really cool.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh yeah, that's pretty baller.
So that is what we did while we were there. Star Wars Land is awesome. I have never been there. The last time I went to Disney, period, was 2018. So they were building Galaxy's Edge at that point. And yeah, I think only Penny stayed with my parents or my in-laws, and only two of the kids went when it was Trevor and Leighton went whenever I went last time. And yeah, it was so much fun just to go to the three parks. Animal Kingdom, Chelsea got to have so much fun because she got to do a behind-the-scenes safari where they took them to go see the animals behind the scenes, and just all kinds of crazy, great things that she just loved. Animal Kingdom is her favorite park, and so she got to do all that fun stuff. So both of us got to do our parks, and all the kids beforehand and said, okay, what's one ride you want to do? So that way everyone got to have fun. And yeah, we got to hit pretty much everything we wanted to see and do, and a little bit more. I got to do Guardians of the Galaxy, and that was a really fun ride to do. I'm so glad I got to do that one.
Cool.
And then the only other major trip that we did was we did a beach trip during spring break. And when I say beach trip, I mean to Kitty Hawk. So we got to do the monument, got to see some lighthouses. You did not go into the ocean because it's springtime, which means in the Atlantic it is freezing cold. So we did not go into the ocean. But we got to do all the fun stuff out there and got to do some running arounds. It was a lot of fun.
He almost said another word before freezing. I heard it. And as someone that's been to the beach in the spring, yes, it is.
Yes. It's spring break in North Carolina beaches is not the same thing as doing spring break in Florida beaches. So
beach, yo.
Get in the water, you pansy.
Yeah. And be like, I got in the water. It'd be like doing the ice bucket challenge. That's kind of like the polar bear challenge. That's exactly what it'd be like just without the ice out in the ocean.
That's how it feels.
At home, I'm writing down, looking at my notes. So Chelsea started working on her garden. We have a couple vines running up, several trellises that we took a bunch of cattle panels and we made them into an arch, and we've been running grapevines over them, and so they've been growing each year. This is the second year they've had a chance to grow, and they're looking really good at this point. We planted a whole bunch of blueberry bushes, and yeah, we did a lot of gardening projects this year. The only other note I had is, so last year was my first year working with the swim team at my high school, and this year is my first year as an assistant coach at the school. So I'm helping out with the swim team this year. In terms of the eclipse, I got to watch that while I was at school. I took the kiddos, like my students. Chelsea had the foresight to buy the
the glasses before
Eclipse
they
glasses,
were
and so
gone.
she bought like a bunch, and she bought like 15 or so, and then another teacher, her student was her son was in the class, and she's like, I'm gonna buy you guys some Eclipse glasses. So we ended up with like 2 classes worth of
I
Eclipse glasses. I was actually
remember
handing them out to other classes while we were out there looking, but I took 2 classes out to see the eclipse, and like I said, that was really fun to take them out. Although there was a point where they're like, "Is this it? Can we go back inside now?"
You little
So
bastards.
they were not the students were not getting the how awesome the eclipse was as I was. And again, in North Carolina, it was a partial eclipse. We weren't in the path of totality, but it was still really cool to see the sun essentially being eaten during that whole time.
I remember I waited too long. I was just at first I was like, I don't know if I need the glasses, and then later I was like, I'm probably gonna need those glasses, and everywhere was like, yeah, no.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
you were looking on day
Excellent.
of, you goober.
Yes. Well, I didn't need it the day before. Shut up.
And I still got a couple of them floating around and everything. As I was telling the guys, my sister-in-law has apparently been voraciously reading books this year. Now, unfortunately,
nom.
I don't read. I don't get the opportunity to read as much as I would like, mostly because I don't actually read novels. I don't have enough time to sit down and read like a chapter or 2 novels. So I actually listen to most of my novels in the car with Audible. And I was telling the guys that I got through 12 books, which includes great courses, because they're not books, but they're still audios. And so one of my favorite things to do is to listen to a great courses plus. This year I got through cultural history of Japan. So what Japan's history and their cultural practices, all that cool stuff. And I was hoping that there would be stuff about like the Sengoku Jidai or like the Warring States period with samurai and Oda Nobunaga and that
Yeah.
group. But really, he essentially burned through that in one chapter and was like, yeah, this was a samurai period and this, but culturally it was just like the samurai reformation and this. So really he blazed through that whole section without really going over the historical context,
You're like,
just because
but
it was more of a cultural thing.
uh,
But I still got to enjoy hearing about it and everything. So, but I got to go through that. Most everything else was like Star Wars, BattleTech, that sort of stuff that I was able to get through this year. And then the last thing would be games. And I've pulled up my Steam stuff. In terms of games, the top 5 games, Total War Warhammer 2. I was playing that just because I like to do the Total War stuff, just build armies, build up society, and then try and beat other people to submission. But the one game that I acquired last year that I played quite a bit of was Kingdom Hearts, which should be no shock to anybody.
Yep.
So, and I unlocked 67 achievements last year. I know Chewy pretty much beat that into the ground.
With a hammer.
Yeah, he did. The other game that, so there's like Civ 6 and everything, but the one game that I also picked up this year that I played the snot out of was MechWarrior 5 Clans. And I love me some MechWarrior 5 Clans. MechWarrior 5 is like giant mechs, blow up stuff, blah blah blah. But you act as a mercenary company, and so not only are you trying to blow up everything, you're also trying to make sure you balance the books. So it's a game of logistics, blowing things up, and financing.
I'm sorry, I just pictured like a secretary or somebody being like, "Yes, I know we just conquered the northeastern quadrant, but we don't have any petty cash left, Dirk."
Well, it's things like, hey, it costs us X amount to repair this mech. We cannot afford to buy any more weapons right now. You need to take more jobs.
Is
That
this
sort
a
of thing.
require more pylons? You must construct additional pylons, sort of
No, this is
situation?
definitely a please stop damaging your mechs. Please make more money. And making more money means, like taking out other mechs or doing, little mission jobs and everything. Like, take out this mech while also trying to
Defender?
cut through all these other ones. Defend this target, stuff like that.
I gotcha.
But MechWarrior 5 Clans it's very story driven. Instead of worrying about all that stuff, you are a star of clan warriors who are part of the invasion in 3050. I'm not going to get into the whole history and everything. That is
Thank
its
you.
own, yeah, it's its own thing to get into. But you are part of one of the most pivotal moments in that universe's history, and you get to go through several of the stories that go with it, and it's a lot of fun. I had lots of fun with it, and yeah, I definitely burned my November playing just that game.
Nice.
And then this coming year, I am looking forward to. I have already purchased Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Civilization 7. So that is probably what I will be spending my entire year playing. Or
is
just
7
those
coming
games.
out this year?
Civ 7's coming out in February.
Jesus, February. Jesus.
Yep. Civ 6. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was going to say Civ 6 is the one that I have the most time on. That's 916 hours. Now, that does include, like, I'm playing the game, and then Chelsea says, hey, I need you to go do this. And about an hour after that, I get back on the game. So there are probably, let's say, 60 hours worth of the game is idle and waiting for me to do something. But the rest of that time is completely honest of that 916 hours. So that is the game I have spent the most time playing. The next game in it is Battletech, and that is 376 hours. So by about a factor of 3 is my first game.
Granted,
And
Civ 6 has been out for what, like 5-6 years?
Yeah, it's been out for forever. They've had DLC they added to it and everything. And it's a great. In my opinion, it's a great game.
What I was gonna say is, so we got the PS5. I got it set up on Christmas, and then I spent most of Christmas transferring the data. It took like 9 hours to transfer the data over from the PS4. And then after that, I think like the next day, I just went on. I saw there was a 75% up to 75% off sale, which, holidays, so not a big surprise. So I was just kind of going through some titles, and I was like, maybe I'll get some of these. I saw that Rebirth was on there. Dragon Quest 3 2D HD remake is not on there. It's too new, probably. So that would be something to get from a retailer or something, but it's not on the sale. And I saw Civ 6, and Carrie's like, have they made 6? And I'm like, I guess. I've always heard of Civilization. It's kind of like The Sims, right? But for a country.
Oh, dear God.
Is that not accurate?
I
thought
that little bite-sized description actually made my head hurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might be dumber now.
Are you talking like Sim City?
I thought that you like raised a civilization from like simple tools up to like nuclear stuff. So I pictured The Sims meets like StarCraft or something.
Well, that's the end of this episode.
Okay. I didn't realize I was insulted. I've literally never played one of these games.
You're not playing Spores. You're not like,
before.
okay, well, you're on your own, and you're just no. You have a city, and
Okay.
you're trying to either grow that city or it's either grow wide or grow tall is the descriptions. Grow tall means you focus on your one city and you build that city up to like monumental status, or you go wide,
Okay.
so you have lots of cities that you are trying to expand your empire and resources and everything. You are competing against other people who you can form alliances with or you can go to war with. And
Okay.
yeah, it's
I'm-
fairly complicated, but it's like resource management, warfare, technology, lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Was I? Yeah. I when I said The Sims, I did mean like Sim City, but
I think
okay.
SimCity is closer to what this is compared to The Sims.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I'm not
But
making
even
a
that
pool and
it's
then
like apples and oranges.
I'm
Or
not
like
making
apples
a
and
pool and then
airplanes.
taking away the ladder. I mean, come on.
And then Gandhi nukes you.
Yeah.
Is that a joke?
No.
No, that is a thing that happened. It has to do with the way the AI was set up and everything. But yeah, if Gandhi makes his way to the age of nukes, and he takes one of the if he takes one of the government trees, he potentially can be like, yeah, I'm gonna nuke you.
I feel like these developers needed to read up on who Gandhi was.
Well, it has to
It
do
was
with
a
just how the
glitch.
logic was done.
Well, originally it was a
glitch.
bug. I think they've
Yeah.
incorporated it into the game in later time. Anyway, let's not turn this into a Civilization tutorial episode.
Okay. I've just never played, and I saw that it was on sale. So
They are
It's much better as a PC game.
They are massively time sink resource management strategy games.
Yes.
okay.
Mhm.
This Civilization is where the whole one more turn and then it's 3 a.m. Thing started.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, Dirk, are you done?
Yes, sir. That is all me.
Dirk has said more on this episode than he did in every episode last year put together.
How fitting. How fitting.
I got makeup for lost time, man.
I guess. So
He's gonna skew the average for next year. We're gonna go like 10 episodes into next year. I'm like, Dirk, why aren't you talking like you were at the end of last year? He's gonna be like, that was just that one time, man.
But I have my 1 year where I catch everybody up on what's going on.
All right, Dirk. See you in 12 months.
in
Well,
excruciating detail.
we'll have to see what happens with the Final Fantasy card stuff. We'll see what happens.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah, I was gonna talk
so,
about that in the next section.
What happened for me personally? This is the first full calendar year that Renee and I were together.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
So that's cool. She lives here now. That's cool.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Let's see. She ended up in the hospital twice, and then I ended up with a kidney stone. These are unrelated, I hope. But that all happened over the summer. So that was a thing. We went up to New York for to be in the Path of Totality. We stayed with Megan and Casey, my favorite lesbians, because their house was dead center in the Path of Totality. So I went up there and got to see my second ever total solar eclipse. That was completely insane.
Would you say it was worth it?
I mean, for me, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. I took lots of pictures of a comet when it was in the sky over a week or two. Like a lot of pictures of the comet. Like every night I would go out and get more pictures, and it's really cool watching the progression of it slowly disappearing every night.
When was this? Like, what time of the year was this? I feel like I remember this, but I don't remember exactly when.
Hell, I don't know. Let me check my photos.
Okay.
Where are my albums? Seriously, where? There we go.
Where are my
Albums.
albums?
Comet. This was in. How do we see dates? Summary? No. How do we? There we go. It's in October.
Okay.
The new iOS version added so much crap that I don't like because it makes finding actual information harder.
I did notice this, yes.
But yeah, from the 14th of October to the 24th, I took a whole mess of comet pictures.
Yeah.
But anyway.
That is a decent number of days.
Yeah. And I missed, I think, the first couple that it was visible in the sky. Yeah, that's about it for personal life. According to Twitch, I did 525 hours of streaming. 127, I'm sorry, where did I get that number from? 170 total streams across 164 distinct streaming days. So I think when a disconnect happens or something and I start again, it probably counts that as a separate stream.
Makes sense.
But yeah, as far as games I played a lot of crap. Like, it's ridiculous. According to the Steam replay, I played 62 games this year, but a lot of those were during the Chivos for Charity stream, and I don't really count those because, yes, I played them during the year, but it wasn't to be playing them. It was get in achievement, get out, you know.
Yeah.
Dirk, how many achievements did you say you got?
In Kingdom Hearts?
No, just in general.
In general? What was this year?
I said 60.
198.
Oh,
that's better. It was
okay, so that 60-some was in Kingdom Hearts.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That makes a difference.
That does, yeah. I got 1,1238.
Yeah, he definitely beat me out of the water.
Well, not really, because a lot of those... Oh, look, there's a bot in the chat. And... banned. Anyway.
I saw that a second ago, and I was going to put it in the chat, in the Discord, but you got it.
But, yeah, I fell into Cookie Clicker this year.
Oh, that's a good one to go back to every once in a while.
Yeah, well, I mean, this was new. It was on sale in the summer sale for, I don't know, $2 or something on Steam. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that'll be something to do, because I used to play it in the browser, you know, 1,000 years ago. But, yeah, 607 of those achievements were for Cookie Clicker. So just under half. Although this stops counting at December 15th, and I got a fair amount of other achievements in both Cookie Clicker and other games in the last half of this month. Or last month. But, you know, whatever. Going back down, I made a concentrated effort this year to play more games not for stream.
Mm-hmm.
Like, play more games
enjoyment.
For fun myself.
Yeah.
And so I went back to some games that I loved, like the Resident Evil 4 remake and Batman Arkham City, to do some achievement hunting. I played mostly just games to sit here and fool around with while I was doing other stuff like listening through odds and ends or whatever. So I played games like Defense Grid, which is just a brilliant, super early tower defense game that set the tone for what a tower defense game was. That I had on Steam and hadn't played on Steam, and I'm like, oh, dude, I love this game on the 360, and yeah, I still do. I played stuff again just for fun, stuff like Peggle, a little hidden object game that is all hand-drawn nonsense, and even all the sound effects are handmade because most of them are mouth noises. Like when you click on something, it'll go boop, and it's a person going boop, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I played some of that. I played a lot of Power Wash Simulator off stream. I played a lot of Vampire Survivors off stream. I played a lot of Hitman off stream. I still love Hitman. I went back to Honey Pop. Yep, I admit it. I played the anime sex puzzle game thing.
Sure.
Again, trying to get achievements. There's still 2 2, 3, something like that I don't have because I hit a wall and never went back to it. I got to go back and get that. I played a game called Free Cell Quest until I 100%ed it, which... Do what?
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, it's literally just Free Cell, but with a few, like, RPG elements. You know, you have to play quickly or you take damage, and you have magic spells that will help you out and whatnot. It's just Free Cell. But it was, again, something to do while I was doing other stuff. My other game that falls into that category was actually Battleship, which is a game I got in a bundle. And it adds, like, a resource management sort of to Battleship, and has differently shaped boards and, like, abilities that the different captains have. Like, oh, if you build up enough points, you can bomb all of the cells on this one row or column. Or, you know, you can set mines, and if your opponent clicks on them, then they take 2 random shots on their board. You know, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I went back to an old game called Forced Showdown, which still I'm hooked on. It's I know I've talked about this a couple times before, but it's a roguelike deck builder top-down dungeon crawler.
Mm-hmm.
And it clicks all the buttons for me, and I hadn't played it in years and years and years, and for some reason I was like, I'm gonna reinstall this and give it a shot, and yep, I'm hooked. Was playing it yesterday. But that's the stuff I played for fun. The stuff I played for content, man, I finished Final Fantasy 3. Well, I started and finished Final Fantasy 3 for the first time ever. Really liked that. I started, I played through a game called Rogue Book, which is like a Slay the Spire type game, but with added elements that Slay the Spire didn't have. That was a lot of fun. I played Doom Eternal, which was amazing. And I'm going to say it's better than Doom 2016. The gaming community as a whole seems to be pretty evenly split on which of those is better. I preferred Eternal. Fight me. Squanto sent me a copy of Helldivers 2, and I played it for long enough to realize that I freaking hate Helldivers 2, and was able to stop playing in time for him to get a refund.
Nice.
So that game that took the internet by storm, I played it, and I'm like, this isn't fun. Why is everyone losing their mind over this stupid ass game? And then he got his money back. So, good job. Let's see. What else? What else?
Play something you don't enjoy.
Exactly. I played Final Fantasy IV, the Pixel Remaster. Finished it.
Always
Love that. June was for short games. Sadly, June was the beginning of when Renee's hospital visits and all of that happened, so I had a whole mess of short games I was gonna play, but I only played 4. But they were good ones. I played Firewatch, which is a first-person walking simulator, although I hate that term. But it's a first-person narrative game about a dude up in the woods as a Firewatch guy back, when that was a thing. I played Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, which was just an adorable little game about Turnip Boy committing tax evasion.
Truth in advertisement.
Yeah, the sequel is called Turnip Boy. What's it called? Turnip Boy Robs a Bank? Yeah. I played Donut County, which is an adorable little game. The actual gameplay is you're a hole and you're moving around. You see it on like the mobile game ads these days, games like this, but you're a hole. You control a hole and you're moving around, sucking up progressively bigger things. But there's a story that goes along with the game that is just adorable about raccoons and theft and drones. And it's ridiculous. But I think my favorite of the short games up. Oh, I also tried to play Katamari Damacy Reroll on PC, but the port sucks. Like, the game starts out at max volume, and you
That's awful for Katamari.
yeah, and you can't get into an options menu to change audio settings or to change the resolution of the game or anything until you finish the damn tutorial.
Ooh, that's bad.
You have to play through the entire tutorial in order to change any settings. And I'm like, this is inexcusable for 2024.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is the year of our Lord 2024. Like, how do you not know this by now? That almost feels deliberate. Like, somebody has to be like, you know what? No, they can't change the volume until after the tutorial.
Yeah. But I think my favorite of the short games I played was one called Unpacking, which I highly recommend to literally everybody. It's a game where you are following a person throughout their life as they're unpacking their belongings after moves. And you start off as a kid and then move on into, you move into your dorm room and then a house in college, whatever. And then you move in with a significant other, and then you move back in with the parents, and it's just to be a game about unpacking boxes. That's the entire gameplay is click on a box. The box opens, an item comes out. Put item somewhere, click on box again, get other item. Like, that's the entire gameplay. But it's very, like, emotional. Like, I grew attached to this character and their stuff. And there are several moments throughout the game where I was like, oh, it was so good. And it's very short. It's on all of the platforms. It's even on both, I'm pretty sure it's Android and iOS mobile stores. I seriously highly recommend you play Unpacking on something. It's so good, and it's very short, and it's not very expensive.
Cool.
But okay. Do what?
You said cool.
Yeah. Moving on, oh god, Cookie Clicker I started in July. Final Fantasy V, which I'd never played before. I finished it. I just finished the, I guess the platinum equivalent for that. Just a few, like a week ago, maybe 2, something like that. What else? I played Balatro for the first and only time on stream in July. Really? In July? I thought that was earlier for some reason. Now I'm addicted to it. Let's see here. Final Fantasy V. Yep. Oh yeah, Kingdom Hearts. I got through Kingdom Hearts 1.5. now that it's available on the Steam store because I refuse to give the Epic Game Store any money. I played Sifu for one stream. It's very hard. And I sucked at it. I kept meaning to go back and do some practice off stream and go back into it, and I never found the time. I played Alien Isolation for Halloween. That was utterly terrifying for a while. Then it just becomes frustrating because, of course, my dumbass decided to play it on a harder difficulty level because I'm an idiot.
You did that to yourself then.
I did, and it, like, you definitely have to engage more with the game and its mechanics, which is good. Like, I played the Doom games on, like, one higher difficulty level than than normal, you know, whatever's one difficulty level up.
Mm-hmm.
Because that forced me, you know, to learn how to play the game properly. But with Alien Isolation, it also did that. But then, you know, when the alien kills you for the 5th or 6th time in a row, you're like, oh, okay, now I gotta walk past this again. Gotta go through here again. There's the alien hiding in the closet. Yep, Like, it stops being scary and starts getting tedious.
Mm-hmm.
I probably should not have started on the harder difficulty. I probably should have progressed to it.
Built up to it.
Yeah, but I stopped playing that on stream because people stopped coming to the stream. Probably because it was miserable to watch.
Go figure.
Yeah. And then the last game that I started playing on stream that I haven't finished yet is Tunic, which is so good.
Doesn't that have a raccoon or something?
Fox.
Okay.
Yeah. It looks like a Zelda game. It's an isometric view. You've got a little sword and a little shield. But you also have a dodge roll and various magical things, and it's a game where the point is to find pieces of the game manual that you would have had, you know, if it was a Super Nintendo game. But even then, some of it's in a different language, like a made-up language. So you have to glean what you can from the pictures and whatnot in the manual. And in the manual, someone has even, like, written down or drawn some, like, clues. Like, oh, this thing makes sure, and there's a little shield with an up arrow and a little sword with a down arrow. I'm like, oh, this increases your defense at the cost of offense. I get it.
Understood.
Yeah. But I'm not done with it yet. I have no idea how much I have left, but it is a lot of fun. It's nice to just not know what the hell's going on. I'm just wandering around finding things. And it's very much like a top-down Dark Souls game. Like, you've got your dodge roll and a stamina bar. And when you find a shortcut that leads back to a place you've already been, it's like, ah. So yeah, and then for Christmas I got a Steam Deck, and I have been playing the holy living hell out of stuff on that, whether in handheld mode or attached to the TV. It's so nice to sit on the couch with a controller in my hand and play video games again, y'all. I had forgotten. It's so good.
Nice.
But my longest streak of playing games was 147 days. What's funny about that is that was mostly because Cookie Clicker was open. It's like, here's what you played during this 147-day streak. Like Peggle, Alien Isolation, DuckTales Remastered, Forced Showdown, Honey Pop, Free Cell Quest. It was Cookie Clicker, all right? But yeah, like I said, we did the charity stream. I'm going to do another one of those this year. I don't know if I'll stick with the Chivos for charity idea or try something else. I don't know. I really liked the way that worked, but instead of achievements, I might do something else. Like one of the earlier ones I did was roguelikes for charity. Actually, that was the last one I did in 2018. Was roguelikes for charity, which was trying a bunch of different roguelikes. I was thinking of doing like maybe ninjas for charity, because there are 17
Ninja.
crap loads of games featuring ninjas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ninja Gaiden, Ninja Turtles. Okay, I'm out.
See? Or maybe zombies for charity, because there are 1,800,000 crap loads of zombie games.
That's true. Zombies Ate My Neighbors, Plants and Zombies.
He's
lot
out.
more.
Call of Duty Zombies, which I would not be playing because screw Call of Duty.
Is that a thing?
As far as what I'm looking forward to next year, yeah, Rebirth, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Looks like I might be able to play it on my computer, which I can play Final Fantasy VII Remake on my computer at max graphic settings while streaming, which I did not expect. I fully expected to like have to go in and turn stuff down because the stream was jittering or something, or my frame rate was bad, but nope, it just worked. So I'm hoping Rebirth will also work, because apparently it's gonna work on the Steam Deck. If the Steam Deck can play it, surely my computer can play it, right? Surely.
Temple.
Oh, and okay, so also this year I'm gonna keep playing Final Fantasy games. Gonna play 6, obviously, because that's the next one up, and it's my favorite. Full stop. My favorite Final Fantasy game is Final Fantasy VI. I'm super excited to get into the Pixel Remaster, which I will be doing as soon as I finish Tunic. But after that, my buddy Scuzzo sort of threw a kink into the plans for the year, because he sent me a copy of Baldur's Gate 3.
Warcraft. Oh, okay.
Which has been on my wish list forever. But, being broke and not having time to play it, I was like, it'll go on a bigger sale, a year or two down the line, I'll pick it up. Well, nope, Scuzzo got that for me. And so I think once I finish Final Fantasy VI, I'm gonna start Baldur's Gate 3.
And that will be the last we hear of Chewie.
Yeah, like I mentioned having, I don't know, like 100 hours in something. And Scuzzo was like, those are rookie numbers. He's sitting at like 300 and some of Baldur's Gate 3. And I went, oh. I said, how many playthroughs is that? Oh, I said something like, it looks like a playthrough of Baldur's Gate can take up to 100 hours. And he's like, those are rookie numbers. I went, what? And he had like 340 some hours, I think was what he said, 350 something at the time. Mm-hmm. And he said that was 3 full playthroughs, several false starts. And I went, Jesus Christ.
It's on my wish list.
Baldur's Gate 3 might be what makes me like try freaking Dungeons and Dragons, which is not a thing that I want to do. Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet Brian likes that, and I heard him giggling. So, but also because Renee lives here now, and nighttime, when I normally stream is time I could be spending with her, and I don't want to be back here streaming every night, when we're both not home from work. I'm gonna start doing some daytime streams, which I think that's where I'll play Baldur's Gate 3. I think. Yeah. I'm still trying to work all this out. I don't even know if Baldur's Gate 3 would be a good thing to stream beyond, getting started and seeing how the game works. I have no idea if people would come to the streams or not. I got nothing. But I do know I'm going to make my character off stream, because I'm going to want to read everything in the extensive character creation. Mm-hmm. And apparently it autosaves after you create your character. So I'll create the character, let it save, and then start whatever streaming there.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone that I asked in the Discord, like, hey, what classes are you guys playing? And everyone's like, oh, this one's my favorite. This one's my favorite. Oh, that one's my favorite. I've got this and this and this and this. And I'm like, huh. So you're telling me they're all good? And they're like, yeah, pretty much. I'm like, piss. So like I was thinking of Warlock or Paladin or Druid or maybe Ranger. And I think those are the 4 that Scuzzo rattled off as his favorites. And I was like, oh, huh.
I've only heard good things about it. I have not tried it myself. I don't own it. If I do, then it'll be a while before you see me. It's bad enough that I'm playing Breath of the Wild 6 years late, but
there is no such thing as
found
late.
Some mushrooms. No.
But yeah, other than that, as far as the future of content, I'm trying to get my head in a better place to finish the Lord of the Rings project. You remember that?
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I got all the way through the first book and a little way into the second, and then like the world fell apart. My world fell apart, and I've gone back to it a couple times and done like another couple of chapters here and there, but I haven't gone like diving back into it. And that's because I have to be in a very specific, not terribly specific, but I have to be in a positive mindset to be able to sit here and read the book while having 3 different windows open for cards and whatnot. And if I'm at all distracted or scatterbrained or not quite with it, it just doesn't work, and I get frustrated. And that's not what you want to do for that. But yeah, it is still in the works. I've still got all of the resources and everything. It's all good. It's just a matter of getting my brain right to work on it. As far as streaming, like I said, there's Final Fantasy VI, obviously. Very excited about Final Fantasy VI. There's Baldur's Gate 3, yup. And I also want to go back to, well, not go back to, but I want to start another franchise run. Like I did Doom, and over the course of a few years, I played all of the Doom games, and I loved that. And up on the block for that are Halo, because I've never, other than borrowing Halo 3 from Squanto, playing through a large chunk of it, and then him calling me a wuss for not playing on Legendary. So I started on Legendary. And Legendary means unseen snipers will just kill you constantly. And I got pissed off and gave the game back to him. That's all I've ever played of Halo. And I did some multiplayer of Halo, whatever the new one is, with Gothic.
Infinite.
Yeah, there we go. I did some Halo Infinite multiplayer with Gothic, and it was fine. It was fine. But since I've got the Master Chief Collection, I could play through, that's what? 1, 2, 3... Reach. What's the ODST?
Mm-hmm.
Is that all?
I think so.
Yeah, 4's not in the Master Chief Collection, right?
No, I think it's separate. No. I think it is. 5 is not.
I can just look, because I've got it. Okay. 1, 2, 3, ODST, Reach, and 4. Yeah, okay. Yeah, 5 isn't, but from what I understand, that doesn't matter.
5 was really good if you're looking at it as I want to play a really cool game. If you're looking at it as story and everything...
See, there you go. And that would be why I'd want to play the games. Was there a 6 or is Infinite 6?
Infinite is 6.
Okay, yeah. And Halo 5 is not on Steam.
Nope. That is how bad it was that it has...
They just never bothered with it.
They kind of like... We acknowledge that it exists. We do not wish to, tank our sales by throwing it out there.
Woof.
and sullying our name.
So the other option for the first-person shooter franchise run is Half-Life, and I'm kind of leaning towards that one because I'd want to play Half-Life 2, Half-Life Episode 1 and Episode 2, because with Half-Life games, Valve cannot count to 3. Then there's the Blue Shift and Opposing Force or something. Things that go with, I think that's 1. And then there's the remake of 1, Black Mesa. And then there's the Portal games, because Portal and Portal 2 both take place in the same universe, so I would lump those in. And the plan would be over the course of a few years to play all of those. Because Half-Life, I'm sorry to say, is a massive blind spot in my gaming history. And I want to fix that. Because I'm one of those people that's capable of playing a game that's old, but playing it now and still being able to appreciate it for what it was at the time. Unlike these kids today. Get off my lawn. Get off my lawn. I saw a review. Someone was like starting to play the Final Fantasy games with the pixel remasters. And it was some like 20-year-old kid. Yeah, if you're 20, you're a kid. Fight me. And he was complaining that Final Fantasy 1 had like no story. Like, it was an honest complaint. Like, he was like, this should have had story. And I just wanted to reach through the internet and poke him in the eye. Like, it was an NES game, bruh. Like, the fact that it had any story at all for you to say was too sparse was amazing. You little bastard. Needless to say, I did not watch any of the rest of his videos on the later games.
No.
But I haven't decided yet if I'm going to keep going with the Final Fantasy games past 6. Like, on Steam, I own 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 2. So I could keep going. And if I were to play 7, I would pretty it up with mods and make it all very gorgeous. But I haven't decided if I would want to keep doing that or if I'd want to wait a while on that. You know what I mean? Because after playing... I'm going to have to play 6 twice. Once for the stream, and then once to go back and get all the achievements I missed. Because that's what I've had to do for 3, 4, and 5. Because I'm going to platinum them all, damn it. Even though it's not a platinum on Steam. If you say that, people know what you mean.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Any other games that I play next year beyond, Final Fantasy 6, probably 7 Rebirth if I'm able, and Baldur's Gate 3, and starting the Half-Life franchise run, it's all going to be just whatever sounds good at the time. Yeah, just whatever sounds good at the time. Oh, I forgot about Final Fantasy Renaissance. That's a game I played this year. Final Fantasy Renaissance is a one-man reproduction of the original Final Fantasy made in, is it Unity? I think it's Unity. I could be wrong on that. I apologize. I don't know things. But it's got 2 modes. Classic mode, which is just NES Final Fantasy 1, but with the bugs fixed. Or I'm allergic to Final Fantasy 1 Classic, apparently. Or Renaissance mode, which is Final Fantasy 1 on the NES, but with a whole lot of extra stuff. Like a crap load of new classes. The last 2 classes he added were... Oh, crap. Archer and... Was it just Archer? I can't remember now, because I haven't played it since the latest update. And it did a poll on what the next 2 will be, and the 2 that won were Samurai and Machinist. But the new classes and the existing 6 classes from Final Fantasy 1 all have new abilities, and every class has its own like side quest in the world somewhere that gets it, I don't know, a new ability or an ultimate equipment or whatever. But it's still Final Fantasy 1 on the NES. And I know I talked about this a lot when it happened, but it's a retrospective. My class, or my party, my playthrough was Lancer, which turned into Dragoon with the class change, Dancer, Geomancer. Who's my other one? Oh, crap. I don't remember. I'm so sorry. Lancer, Dancer, Geomancer, Evoker. There, yeah, I had the Summoner. To turn into a Summoner once the class change happens. And that was a trip because I played this game that I've known, for 30 years almost, with 4 characters that didn't exist in the game. And there was extra stuff hidden throughout the game that wasn't there originally, but it was still Final Fantasy 1.
Like the dances and the bard songs and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you get dances. You remember, okay, in the very first town of the very first Final Fantasy, there's a dancer. She's like, I'm Erilon the dancer. And that's all she says. That's her entire thing in the NES game was she said her name and she said she was a dancer. She's a pointless NPC. In Final Fantasy Renaissance, if you have a dancer in your party, she will teach you a dance. And there's a dancer in every town with the name Erilon, but with a different letter in front. So like Marilon, Barilon, whatever. And they will all teach you dances. And sometimes you have to do something for them first or pay them an exorbitant amount of money or something first. But that's where you get your dances. Like you get your summons by fighting the summoned creatures in the astral plane. Stuff like that. It's awesome. I've only done the one run with those 4 classes, and there were 16, so now there are 18 classes in the game. So there's a stupid amount of replay value there. If you can get it around playing NES Final Fantasy 1. I have to stress that it is very much NES Final Fantasy 1. And for all the stuff that he's changed or added, he hasn't changed a bunch of stuff that is just the way Final Fantasy 1 was. Like, if you hit fight with all of your characters on one enemy and that enemy dies, they don't auto target a new character. They just swing at an empty space and it says ineffective.
Right.
Like, it is NES game. But the bugs have been fixed and he's added a bunch of cool stuff.
I'm sure the Marsh Cave is still
The Marsh Cave will still make you want to die. Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
From poison. I
still stand by a thing that I've been saying for years. The Marsh Cave is the hardest dungeon in Final Fantasy 1. Because it's way harder than it should be by the time you're able to get there. Everywhere else, except maybe the Ice Cave, once you're able to get there, you're probably fine. But the Marsh Cave, you are not. But anyway, so yeah, I want to do more streams. I want to switch, not entirely, but switch a lot of my streams to the daytime. I want to keep doing the show with these dorks. I want to try to move away from Magic even more. I know a lot of people listening to this are going to go, oh, but like we just don't play as much anymore. And I personally have very little interest left in Magic as a product. So, gonna slowly keep creeping away from it. Although when the Final Fantasy set drops, we're just gonna be neck deep in it. Hey, Cardboard Samurai with a 45-month resub. Thanks, buddy. Not saying we're gonna drop Magic entirely, as much as I might want to, but we're gonna back up from it even further. So I hope you enjoyed the Castlevania episodes, or at least the idea of the Castlevania episodes, because something tells me we're gonna do that even more. Not necessarily pick a franchise and run, but stuff like that that's not talking about Magic. There's a whole lot of nerd crap out there we could talk about besides Magic, and so we probably should. Yeah. But
Sounds
I
good.
think... Oh yeah, and if you haven't, go subscribe to The Deep End, because that's where the Lord of the Rings videos are going to go once I get those finished. And subscribe to the Patreon, because that's where I'm going to be dropping like the work in progress videos. Just, throw $1 in there. Although I am caught up on the odds and ends now, as of today. The last episode, so the previous episodes, odds and ends, went live today. I didn't post one on the first in deference to Squee's birthday. Happy birthday, Bill. But
Yay.
Do what?
I said yay
Yeah.
for Bill's birthday.
But yeah, go subscribe to The Deep End, because I really, after putting, so much time into those, I really hope they do well. So you gotta go subscribe. Hey, someone else just subbed. Chifuji with 54 months. Happy New Year to you too, sir. Yay. By the way, Happy New Year, everybody. It is 2025 now. It's still science fiction. I don't like it. On a more somber note, for those of us in the United States, the next few years are probably going to be rough in ways that we haven't thought of yet. It's going to be bad. I'm not going to lie. But it's just don't focus on the big picture. If that's causing you stress and anxiety, try to just keep it local.
Yeah.
Like the people in charge are going to do whatever the hell they want to do and turn the country into whatever it is they want it to be. We can't stop that now. Our chance to stop that was in November, and we failed. But just focus on the people around you. Being kind when you can.
Yes.
Don't let the big picture... I know of one person in particular who keeps looking at the big picture and going, and don't do that. Just focus on friends and family and yourself. Be nice to people when you can. Be savage to people that deserve it. As I think on my very, Twitter and BlueSky and whatnot, I think the line that I've had in there for years is be kind when possible, be savage when not. Because then you feel better. Always punch Nazis. Pling. But, yeah, don't... As one of my favorite YouTubers says, Ordinary Things, I need to watch his 2024 video, but it's an hour and a half long and I haven't had time yet. But as he ends every episode of his on his channel with, don't let the bastards grind you down. And I've taken that to heart. Because that's what they want. They want you to feel helpless and obedient and shut the hell up and do as you're told so they can do whatever it is they want to do. And don't let them do that to you. Right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Be good, be kind to each other, because we're all we've got.
Yeah. Was it Gandhi who said, be the change you want to see in the world?
Right before he dropped a nuke on someone, yep.
Right before he dropped a nuke on The Sims. Yes.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
And as Chifuji just said in the Twitch chat, join the Discord, the Manapool Discord, for a whole mess of supportive folks. Yes, we are. We're very supportive in the Discord. There's a new game going on. There's a thread on the MTG channel called Magic Before and After that Chifuji started, where someone posts a card, like, what was the one that was just Inertia Bubble, and the idea is to then the next person posts a card with.
Go to bed.
You go to bed. The idea is to then post a card that starts with the end of the previous one. So,
okay.
Inertia Bubble was posted, and then the response was Bubble Smuggler, and then the response to that was Smuggler Captain, and that's the three most recent.
Okay.
Nice. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. And it's there aren't that many people in the thread, which is sad, but we've been keeping it going for I don't know when he started this, but it's been a hot minute now. At least a few weeks, I think. But just little things like that, you know. We've got rooms for all the different flavors of content that I make, and then all the different kinds of conversation. There's a movies one and a reading one and a channel for aminals. Because you got to have a channel for aminals so people can post aminal pictures.
True.
And if you don't want, like, the political stuff, there's a separate channel for that named Sensitive Topics. So that you can just ignore that sort of thing if you don't want that in your feed and in your head. Just don't go in that room. So yes, please join the Discord. We have fun there. I'm there all the time. These other dorks, I don't think I've ever set foot in it, but I'm there all the time.
I need to be heading out. I got a message from Carrie.
We should be wrapping this up anyway.
Yeah.
Do we bother with final thoughts?
All I was going to say was
this has been a giant final thoughts.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I did not cover my thoughts for the future. I think Dirk did, and then you went into yours. But I was just going to say that over the next year, I'm looking forward to a couple things you touched on, like Final Fantasy Rebirth. Looking forward to getting that. Spending more time with you guys, maybe somewhat in person, shock and awe. And then I've been thinking about a successor to the RPG episodes, like a new system or something for a while. I floated an idea past Chewy like last year. I don't know if he even remembers it, but I've been kind of finalizing some things, so that may be something we get to eventually. So I'm trying to be optimistic going into this new year, even with all of the craziness and whatnot going on, and trying to stay positive for myself and for the people around me. So that's all I was gonna say. So
yeah. Anybody else?
I think I've said everything I was going to say.
I mean, you have used up your year's worth of words, yeah.
He did, yeah. I'm impressed.
Beardy Weirdy, you got anything?
No.
I like the way he didn't even blink at Beardy Weirdy.
He's used to it.
Yeah, no, I think just I have about it was a good year personally. I think personally it's still gonna remain another good year coming up. I look forward to it.
Nice. Yeah, one thing I didn't say, I think as far as mental state goes, this year was way better for me than the previous year.
Mm-hmm.
It still wasn't great, but there was a noticeable improvement. I'm gonna blame Renee for that, at least partially.
And that is a good trend to continue.
Excuse me. And then I joked. Well then, I would also like to remind everyone to go to patreon.com/themanapool. Sign up there. Give us some support. And let me thank our Mythic lifeguards in, let's do this order. Yeah, Kim Ho, Jake Jansons, Jason Doan, Tim Uhellis Haryu, Jason Kaus, Al, Casey, Michael. Who the hell is Michael? Scuzzo. Huh. Thanks for the Baldur's Gate and screwing up my whole life for next year, Scuzzo. ALK Alters, Violet Moon, and Andrew Odie. Yeah. Also, I've been saying this for, I think, 2 years now. I need to rework the Patreon. Change around what some tiers get and whatnot. Also, if you're not at the odds and ends tier, you just got like 2 or 3 of the odds and ends. So there you go. Merry Christmas, I guess. That's the problem with posting things rapid fire, is sometimes I just miss a step, and I missed a step for putting it at the proper tier. So, hey, you got free odds and ends. It happens. All right. So are we done? We should be done. I'll take your silence as a yes. So,
yep.
I hope everyone's 2024. Oh, excuse me. That was a hiccup. That was not a dramatic sigh for for effect. I hope everyone's 2024 was good. I hope you all enjoyed your various and sundry holidays. And I hope everyone's 2025 is better. Despite the state of the world. I hope next year just continues to get better for everybody. Except for the Nazis. They can get punched. So this has been episode 713. Is that right? That's a weird number. 713. Ugh. Thank you all so very much for joining us, and Happy New Year.